It is about business, but it's also about what's loosely termed as spirituality.
Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to Creatives Connect. I'm Gemma Rosenthal, and I'm going to be co-hosting tonight with my Find Tell Share podcast co-host, Chris Sissons. And the topic tonight is going to be the song of your business, which I'm really excited about doing, which it was a vote as well. We put out a few different topics, and that was the one that people wanted. So I'm excited to see what's going to come from that conversation. So me and Chris have already had a few conversations about the topic, and it really does spark off ideas. And I think that's the idea, is this isn't necessarily about like discovering exactly what the song of your business is in this session. It's more about, okay, how can this topic spark some ideas that you might want to try, maybe for your business or maybe just for your life as well. So there's no pressure to kind of just create something straight away from the session, but at the same time, it's just a really fascinating conversation, and you can share your ideas as well. Oh, just put yourself on mute. Um, yeah, just so that there's no background noises. And then if anyone wants to speak, you can. There's a little thing at the bottom where you can raise your hand, and also, I might ask you to mute as well, unmute as well. I know there's a few people that aren't going to be speaking tonight as well, which is fine. You can also type in the chat box any comments that you want to do there. Chris, would you like to introduce yourself and a little bit about Market Together? So Chris he runs Market Together. That's his business. My business called Creative Hearts, which you all know if you're here, but if you're watching it maybe afterwards, I want to help creatives basically because I'm a creative myself. I do singing, songwriting, dance, acting, but I also coach creatives. So that's my passion, is to help you to find your voice and to shine your light and to create the work that you're meant to create in this world. So that's what I'm here to do. Chris, tell us a bit about you and your business.
So my business is called Market Together. I'm a local marketing coach, and I specialise in the use of storytelling, which is actually fundamental to any marketing. Even if you've not noticed that, it's there somewhere. And we're all storytellers. And if you are trying to get your message across effectively to the public, you need to be aware of the story, whether it's a story that begins once upon a time or a story that is at the foundation of your marketing, whatever it is. Being aware is really important.
Just one second. Have you got your mic? Can you put on your mic? It's just the sound's a little bit,
Oh, shall I? Is that
oh,
better?
just a little bit it's just the quality is just a little bit.
Well,
Uh,
I've got a new mic and headphones, and it's in a box in the kitchen.
oh, okay. Yeah,
uh,
just a little
that
bit closer then.
box is in total chaos at the moment. Knowing it's in a box in the kitchen is quite something.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I chose a wrong date for you to do this tonight because you're in the middle of decluttering.
well, it's not just that. I've got people coming in, taking all the plaster off the walls. 5 out of 6 rooms.
Well, thank you for doing this anyways at
Yeah.
this time.
What I wanted to do, Gemma, was to say a bit about myself uh, as an introduction to the introductions. To
Okay.
do that, and then you can sort of share that bit.
Yeah.
The theme of the song of your business, it is about business, but it's also about what's loosely termed as spirituality. And I think it's really important when we discuss spirituality to know where we come from and what tradition that we're in. So, and don't get too alarmed. I'm a Methodist. I've been a local preacher for almost 40 years. I get my 40-year certificate sometime next year. I'm not sure whether I should be excited about that, but anyway. And as far as this evening is concerned, there are two things that I want to underline. Um, First of all, Methodist spirituality is sometimes called Arminianism, and that that horrible long word is the name of a theologian called Arminius that nobody's ever heard of or read. But the basic idea is that when you go deep into your own tradition, that enables you to reach out in conversation with other traditions. It's not about converting one another or any of that. It is simply being able to sustain a conversation with people who have very different views to your own. So that's the first thing. The other thing I wanted to mention, which is not so popular amongst Methodists, is that my spirituality is materialist. I begin in the material world, my spirituality is there. I don't see a separate spirit. We encounter the spiritual through the material world. So those are the two things. Now, what I also want to say is this is not a workshop. It's an opportunity to explore some ideas. I shall throw a few ideas in as we go, but it's only going to work if people speak. Otherwise, we're going to have me throwing an idea in, a long, embarrassing pause, and then me throwing another idea in. Be over in 5 minutes. Uh, uh, so please feel free and obviously, well, I mean, you don't really need to worry about interrupting because I'm hopefully not going to waffle on for too long. Gemma will stop me if I do, hopefully. So, what I'd like to do, uh, often in these sessions, we begin with a meditation. By way of a meditation, I want to do it through the introductions. And what I want us to do is, if you could introduce yourself. If you have a business or are thinking about having a business or anything to do with the business, mention that. If you haven't, don't mention it. And then, and also, if you want to say anything about your spiritual tradition, that would be useful to know. But then, what I'd like you to do as well is to share something about a tree. And that could be a species of tree. You know, I like oak trees because whatever, or it could be a specific tree that you acknowledge as you go, as you walk past, or sit under, or climb, or whatever you do with it. So, so be thinking about that. While you are, I should give you my tree, and then I can shut up for a few minutes. My tree is. Oh, and I should say, it doesn't have to be your favourite tree, or it could just be a tree that's your favourite today. The tree that I want to mention actually is on Burngreave Road. It's in somebody's front garden. It's the only one of its species that I've seen in Sheffield. There may be some in people's back gardens and so on. The only one that I've actually seen. And its proper name is Araucaria. Or ARA for short. But everybody else knows it as the monkey puzzle tree. And it comes from Chile. It bears wonderful nutty fruits that only a few privileged people have eaten. But apparently it's very nice. And it's a bit of a puzzle why it's called a monkey puzzle, because there aren't any monkeys in Chile. So if you've got images of Chilean monkeys sat around scratching their heads, you can dispel those. But there it is in a garden, corner of Burnley Road, for everyone to see. Is it the only one in Sheffield? No. Gemma.
Right, so I think I've spoke a little bit about my business. A tree. So the other day, I went along to Kelly Dad's yoga in the woods, and we came across this tree, and it was quite big. It's probably about that wide. Like when I say big, I mean quite wide, the trunk. Um, and she said normally we'd hug the tree, but it was a bit rainy. So, but it had loads of moss on it, and I'm not quite sure what kind of tree it was. But instead of hugging it, I just put my hands on it, almost like I was giving the tree Reiki or something. But I was thinking, is the tree giving me Reiki? Or am I giving the tree? That was my thoughts. But it was like the wetness of the moss, or just the connection to the tree, but the fact that it was so green and mossy, and the fact that we'd just done loads of yoga. I mean, just doing yoga amongst all of these trees was just such an experience. And I felt really connected to everyone there as well when we were doing the poses, and we were just surrounded by all these trees. So for me, I mean, that was a very meditative experience. And yeah, so that's my little tree meditation. So I just forgot I've got to lead this bit then. So who would like to share a bit about themselves and give their tree meditation for us? So as everyone's speaking, allow yourself to really meditate on the tree that they're talking about. Take yourself there, visualize it, so that we can really join in that presence with the trees.
I'll go next if that's all right. So my name's Yusuf, and I recently started as a life coach, and I've called my business 138 Coaching. That number is just kind of really special to me, so that's why I've used it. And yeah, I'm hoping for some, I suppose, guidance or direction, or just any sort of insight or wisdom that can help me as I'm starting this path. I've got a session with Gemma tomorrow actually to help me even more with that. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of it about the business, because it's all very new. I love coaching, and I love talking with people and connecting with people, and I'm very passionate about holding space for people. So yeah, all of those things make me very happy. You said to mention about spirituality. I think if I were to sum up my spiritual beliefs in a nutshell, it's just like the standard hippie, peace and love, we are all one, all of that stuff that just makes perfect sense to me. But a lot of people look at me weird when I talk about it. And in terms of a tree, I was in Switzerland about a month ago just for a weekend to do a yoga thing, and it was on my last day there, and I was walking back from where we were doing the course, and in this park I just saw the most beautiful tree in the world. Honestly, it was amazing. I don't know what kind of tree it was, but it was huge, and the branches were just like absolutely massive, and like that probably couldn't carry their own weight. They were reaching down to the ground and just super long. And I started walking along these branches and just climbed the tree quite high. And I had a rose because they gave us a rose at the course. And I put the rose in the tree. And it was just very, very beautiful. And I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Yusuf. I'm looking forward to your coaching journey and working with you on that. Really exciting.
Thanks, yeah.
Okay, next. Who would like to go next? Shalina?
Hi, I've got a little extra to know how much longer I'm here, so I'll just share. Thank you for your invite today. My name is Shalina. I'm based in South London. Well, I am in an interesting place in my life because I've done a lot of work with Gemma when there was a little bit of, I think I was doing 5 or 6 different jobs at the same time. I've just given up my last job today. And so I'm at that place where I've been trying to make some space for that creative profession I want to get into. I've been doing quite a lot on LinkedIn. I enjoy writing and sharing, and I don't know what it is I want to do, but I know that it's there. So I'm allowing that space for it in a way. But it's similar to what maybe Yusuf and Jem and everyone else is doing, finding a way of kind of empowering people, self-belief. I don't think it's in the form of coaching one-to-one necessarily. It's more on speeches and something on a scale where I can reach more people. But again, that is evolving with time. From a spiritual point of view, I think I am a very spiritual person, and I believe in all of us being one and being connected in a certain way. And that's why I feel it's so important for us to support each other and help each other. And the trees, I love cherry blossom trees. That's my thing. I love them in the spring and how they come about. But recently I was watching The Stickman with my son yesterday. It's Juliet Donaldson, and she's done the animated version, and the Stickman loses his way and he's looking for a way of getting back to his home tree. And he calls it the family tree, which I think is such a nice way of describing it, because it's, it has so many meanings to it. But that in some ways was meant a lot to me, because he kind of went with the flow and found his way back home to his family when the time was right. But yeah, so that was watch it. I would recommend. It's quite a meditative experience. Yeah, it really did resonate. Yeah, that's my story. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, and Shalina actually her writing features in a book with me as well, called The Words of the Wise. So if you want to check that book out, I have copies which you can buy for $8.99 as well. So it was really amazing working with you on that journey of finding your voice and then being published. And yeah, so I'm excited to see what the next part of your journey is going to be as well. Yeah.
Thank you. I think that was just a small poem, not anything quite as exciting as yours, but
no,
it was
beautiful.
Something. Yeah.
It's beautiful. I mean, poetry is it's like a way of art. It's like art with words, isn't it? I just find it, sometimes you don't need a whole, I mean, mine's a whole chapter, but it's a different form of, I think, yeah, it's a different form of expression, isn't it? So yes, it's beautiful. I really like it. Thank you. Okay, next probably either Mac or Martins. Oh, Darshna, sorry. Go for it, Darshna.
Hello, I thought, yes, I'd just go for it. So I'm Darshna. I've been working with Gemma over the past few years on many things, some of it creative, something more about development and growth, etc. So my 9 to 5 is a finance job, but I do have a creative streak that kind of manifests in many ways. I do a little bit of creative art, so I do henna designs, Mindy art. Recently started making like little bracelets. So I just have a creative streak on that side, and also music. So I'm into Bollywood, predominantly Bollywood vocalist, but also been working with some Western fusion with Gemma. So that's kind of my creative streak. In terms of my spiritual beliefs, I think that's probably something I've delved more into the last maybe 5 to 7 years. I think I'm at the basic stage of, I do believe there's something out there that connects us all. I believe there's like a universal energy. So it's kind of more at that level, and that's something that I'm exploring through my practices and in life. In terms of a tree, so was it Selena, the one who just went before? Cherry blossom. Cherry blossom, yes. And for me, only because it reminds me of my childhood. I remember they used to be on every street corner where we lived, and we used to love it when they used to all kind of bloom, and we used to take the flowers and we used to create designs on the floor using the petals. So it started since then. And I just think, like I say, that the joy that the colours brought and that experience brought just kind of resonates. So that's probably my link to HV. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And also, I just want to share as well that Darshna is currently selling some beautiful bracelets. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, okay. So I'm not sure who's in Gemma's the WhatsApp group already. So I've put a little message on there about that. So I initially started it because within like the Indian culture, we celebrate Siblings Day. And one of the things is giving this little beaded threaded bracelet. It's supposed to be about love and protection and kind of a bit of a bond. So that's kind of where the idea started. But at the same time, they're just beautiful little gifts and trinkets, and as Gemma's kind of actually said herself, she can identify some of the colors with particular spiritual traits, chakras. So so they kind of expand a bit further than what I initially was aiming for. So yes, I am selling those. They come between a range of like £1 to £1.75. It's inexpensive, but just make nice little additions either to gifts for the people or just for yourself. So yeah, absolutely. If you need to, feel free to drop in on me or in the group if you do like them. Thank you, Gemma.
Yeah, they're beautiful. I'm gonna get some. I'm getting 3.
I'll get them sorted for you.
Excited. Thank you. And who is next? Mac or Martins? Do you want to go next?
Hi everyone. I'm probably thinking I should speak last because I came in late, so I'm thinking probably I should allow everyone speak before myself.
No.
Good evening, good evening everyone. Good evening everyone. Sorry, I'm feeling a bit because this is really new to me. Like I mean, I'm used to video calls, but this is new. My name is Martins. I live here in Nigeria, Africa. I I do a lot of things around music. So, not to waste our time, let me just say I sing, I write, I mix, I master, I direct, I everything around music, the business. And in Nigeria here, I work with the movie industry, which is Nollywood. And I'm a big fan of Bollywood. So I heard the other lady talk about Bollywood. Like I'm a big fan of those people. Namaste. So the tree, growing up in Africa, we are used to, green trees. The funniest thing is we actually don't know them by their names, you know. But I will say, I mean, the trees we know are like the fruit trees, like mango trees, orange trees, But I heard the stuff that you guys are mentioning, like I don't know those trees, you know.
Cherry blossom.
But I just love trees that are like kind of greenish and maybe with big leaves and stuff like that. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Also, Martins mixes and masters my music. So if you've heard Trust the Flow, if you've heard Illusions, that's
Right.
he
Right.
mixes and masters my music. So if you don't know what that is, can you explain a little bit what it is to just so people?
Okay, so the process of making a music or a record start with, the creative process of writing the song down. Now you go into the studio, you record the song with the microphone, but everything is still raw at that stage. So mixing is the process where we give life to the instruments, and like we blend them together with the vocals. We blend each, instruments together with the vocals, and like just fine tune everything and make it, straight. Yeah. And the mastering is the last stage. The mastering is more like something is already beautiful, but now you're trying to, like, when bomb works, like put that beauty, like make that beauty like really, really beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it just like elevates the
Think.
sound. So yeah, it
Right,
kind of gives
right,
it a shine.
right.
It's like if you're putting, I suppose it's like when you put makeup on, you're already beautiful in your own natural state, but then you're adding some shine to it to the
Mm-hmm.
eyes pop and make the
Right,
lips. So it just gives it that more,
right.
I guess, like
You
professional.
know, when you already have a makeup on, now you put on some glasses, that's like an extra bomb to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so mastering is all about those extras, and right.
Yeah, the hat, the scarf.
The art, yeah, those stuff, yeah. So mastering is all about that, those extras to the beauty, just to make sure everything is pum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And Matt, would you like to go next?
Okay, good evening, everybody. So my name's Mac, or Magic Mac. I run a business called Magic Mac Media, and I'm a copywriter, and we write for sales pages, landing pages for coaches, expert therapists, and you name it, CEOs and people like that. So when it comes to my spiritual belief, I've grown up in a Christian family, so that's kind of the basis of my Christian belief, but also that bit of African spirituality and things like that. And when it comes to a tree, now thinking about what kind of tree was my favorite. Now the tree that I thought of was the conker tree that's next door to me, because it links. It's got a very special link. So when I was young, many moons ago, there was a conker tree next door, and people would throw stuff to get conkers. And I knocked on the door, asked the guy, who seemed very ancient, but I realized he was only like 59 or something, which is not that ancient at all, but I thought it was ancient. And he gave me a whole bag of conkers. Now, 20 something years later, my best friend, he moved in next door, and we had a talk under that conker tree, and a few parties as well. And, a lovely little link. So the conker tree next door.
Very nice. I have a conker tree. There's a conker tree like just down the road where I used to walk to school. So I've got memories of being with my dad and picking up conker, you seeing if there's any conkers on the floor, basically. So I've got some lovely memories from the conker trees. So I don't know if you have conker trees, Martins, where you are, but yeah, they're kind of
That's what I want to say, because I think I'm in Africa. I think you guys believe, like we have more of this things more than you guys. But I don't know. Like I don't know any of these things you're talking about, trees. I mean, we have forests, right? So we believe our trees are supposed to be in the forest. Like those, you know, I think when you see trees in people's houses are like flowers. Because it's even absurd, yeah, to actually see trees on the road or probably in the city, or, like people will be like, what's the tree doing here? Cut it off. Yeah, we don't have, yeah, I remember you people over there have like organizations that go against stuffs like that, right?
Yeah.
Even the animals and yeah, because even in Africa, we're just embracing the love of animal. Actually, I won't lie to you. Yeah. Now, we used to believe in killing, cutting most of these things, killing animals, cutting trees, because we think trees, dirty places, stuff like that. The leaves, when they fall to the ground, they dirty the place. So we just want to tidy everything and cut them off. But recently, people are beginning to embrace the new, so I know someday I will learn all these trees, the
Yeah.
bloom and the. Thank you.
Yeah, we have in Sheffield, there was a film actually about the whole movement in this city. My friend was starring in it, and they did a whole like protest, and he was making songs for it, and just like to stop them cutting down the trees in our
Right.
area, because there was a big thing about it. I can't remember what the film is called again. But yeah, it's a big thing here. Like they really love, a lot of the people in Sheffield are really into the environment and embracing nature and wanting to keep the trees, which
Right.
because
Right.
they help us breathe, don't they? They
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
regulate
The
the oxygen.
oxygen, I mean, what they call them? Oxygen and the
Yeah,
carbon dioxide and stuff like
yeah.
that, right?
So yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah, so I've just shared also our latest podcast. So me and Chris co-host a podcast, Find Tell Share, and Mac was our guest on the podcast, the last one. So I've just shared it in the comments. So if you want to go listen to that, you can check it out. It was a great episode. I still haven't listened to it, though. I need to listen to it, but it is out there. I shouldn't share that I haven't listened to it, should I? I'm just saying if there is any bits where I don't know what I'm saying on there. No, I'm sure it is a great episode. Meaning, I remember the feeling of doing the episode. I know that it was a good episode. I've just been so busy, and it's like, okay, Chris, do you want to do the next part?
Yes, I'm just going to do sort of small bits and then allow you a bit of space to see whether anyone wants to comment on them. And but just picking up on that theme of trees, we are going to get to business in the fullness of time. But I do think the natural world is a very important part of our lives. And you'll see from the next thing I'm going to read that where, where the linkage begins to emerge. I'm going to be reading from a book called Braiding Sweetgrass. So while you're discussing this, after I've said it, I'll put details in the comment. It's by Robin Kimmerer. Where do you go? That's it. And it's about indigenous wisdom, scientific knowledge, and the teachings of plants. Trained botanist, and she is also related to Native Native American culture. So, and she's spent her life trying to reconcile to science and the culture. So I'm going to just read a very short paragraph, but this is what inspired the theme of the Song of Your Business. So here it is. So Robin writes, reminds me of a story told by my friend Polly Youngbear Tibbets, a plant scientist armed with his notebooks and equipment is exploring the rainforest for new botanical discoveries, and he has hired an indigenous guide to lead him. Knowing the scientist's interest, the young guide takes care to point out the interesting species. The botanist looks at him appraisingly, surprised by his capacity. Well, well, young man, you certainly know the names of a lot of these plants. The guide nods and replies with downcast eyes, yes, I have learned the names of all the bushes, but I have yet to learn their songs. And then Robin adds, I was teaching the names and ignoring the songs. And I read that and I thought, it's not just plants that have a song, maybe we do. And our business as an expression of ourselves may have a song. But I haven't a clue what that means. And I'm hoping that you're all going to be able to tell me and us and share it between us. Except that you're all going to say, I'm not a clue either.
Well, I'm happy to start off with what I think it means, or just some ideas, and then we'll just go around and everyone can share what they think. What does the song of your business mean? Or the song of your life, your creative life, or just your life in general. So for me, obviously I'm a singer-songwriter, so I literally write songs. And lately I've just been reflecting on how important these songs have been in my life and how they've shaped my whole journey. And it's interesting how you get certain themes crop up again and again within the songs. And I think it's the through line. So the song, it's singular, isn't it? It's whole one. So the song is sort of the through line of everything that you create, of everything that you do, who you are, really. But more than that, more than just who you are, it's how you express who you are through your business, through your life, through your creativity. So the idea is that the song, we all have thoughts and feelings that we feel every single day, and we take actions as well. I'm just going to mute you, Nadim, if you can. But welcome. And yeah, so the song of our business is not just writing a song, or what we typically think of as a song. The song is life itself, and it's how that life expresses through your unique perspective, because only you can have the perspective that you have. Everybody might be able to do what you can do, certain skills or whatever, but you're the only person that has your unique perspective. And it's how do you express that perspective? When I'm writing songs, maybe I like to write songs about songwriting. I say I like to, I just do, because that's what I enjoy is the creative process. So I like writing songs that speak about that creative process, because it helps me to understand life more, and it helps me to understand the navigation of that creative process. And also that's what I tend to be given when I'm creating, because I like to open up to the higher source, God, whatever you call it, to actually tune into what does life want me to sing, rather than, okay, I want to write a song about da da da. It's like, how can I connect to life and then allow life to work through me? So for example, when I wrote Trust the Flow, I didn't know that song was going to exist. There was no planning, there was nothing. It was just me working on a song, going, oh, I can't get this song right. I'll I'll leave that for the minute and I'll start something new. And it was just me trying things out. And then once I'd got the beat, I just started singing. So I just got my mic, which I have here. So, oh, that's going to drop now. So I have a mic and I just started singing, and I just started saying, trust the flow, then you'll know. Trust the flow and then you'll grow into your destiny. And the first part of the song goes, it doesn't have to be about where you're going. It doesn't have to be about what you're showing. It can be more than you've ever dreamed. It can be more than what it seems. And I think there's something around, like, when you share something. So for example, in my coaching as well, I know I'm talking a lot right now. I'll let some of you talk soon. But there's also not only the song of my business when it comes to singing. In my coaching, how does that express? Because I know some of you are coaches or you have clients. How does that express? How does a song express through the coaching? Well, even as I'm coaching you guys right now, kind of in this session, I'm speaking and I'm kind of delivering in a coaching type of style, more sharing my own experiencing, like a mentor kind of style. I do that in an expressive way. You know, I share my own experiences. I use examples. I create a picture. I bring some. So even me just getting that mic just then, I didn't have to pick up that mic and drop my light on the floor. But that's part of my song, is that I like to show people the creative experience, and I like to demonstrate, this is how I did it. And this is how you can do it in your business, in whatever way that is for you. So for example, Chris was talking about storytelling, telling stories in your business. And Mac knows about this as well. He uses a lot of storytelling in his marketing. That's how you connect with people. That's how people can relate to you, because you have a story to tell, and your story, not just one story, you have lots of stories, and your stories can be part of your song. In fact, I was watching, I think, lots of Sinead O'Connor stuff, and she said about her book, obviously she's just died, but she wrote a book before she died, and she said in this interview, this book is the best song I've ever written. And I thought, wow, that fits so much with this topic right now, because that's a singer-songwriter saying that a book is the best song she's ever written. And the reason behind that is, I've not read the book, but I know that it meant a lot to her, because she was sharing a message. She was bringing awareness of what had happened to her and the issues that surrounded her life. So sometimes the song is not necessarily a song, it's a message, or it's a feeling, or it's a purpose. It's purpose. It's whatever brings you that sense of, this is what I'm here to do. This is what my soul came here to do. So that's my version of the song of your business. What's yours? Who wants to share? Does anyone want to go first?
I don't mind going first. But also I don't know what the answer to the question is at all, really. I love the concept of it and the idea that you could replace the word song with message. Like, what's the message? What is the thing that we're trying to do and get across to people? But song is a beautiful way to put it, because everything's a vibration, and that's what it is. So yeah, I like that. What would the song of my business be, or what would my song be? I guess maybe that's what I'm here to find out. But it would probably revolve around connecting with people and like I mentioned before, like holding spaces for them, holding space for people to be authentic and feel safe. And I realize it's gone really dark here. 1 second. That might help. And yeah, just almost like being there for people to be able to just feel heard, because a lot of the time that's kind of just what we need. And yeah, I think maybe that's all I've got right now about what my song potentially is. And yeah, hopefully I find sort of more of an answer to that by the end of this and by the end of tomorrow with you as well, Gemma.
Yeah, it's the starting point, isn't it? So we don't often know what the song is going to be. Like I mentioned before, I don't always know what I'm going to write when I start off writing a song, but the process of finding that out, and the more you do it, the more you learn, oh, okay, I thought it was this, but it's actually this, or it kind of shifts into something bigger, or it stays the same, but there's just a deeper element to it. And I really like what you said about holding space for people, connecting, and that being the basis of your song right now, because that's such a strong basis to start a business, because you're making it about the client rather than yourself, in the sense of holding space for them. And that's something that Chris talks about when you're having client calls, is to make sure that you are putting the client is the one that shares their song in your sessions, you know. So as a coach, you know, as coaches, we are there to hold space for others to share their song. And that's a really beautiful way to start as a coach. And yeah, and then when you do more sessions, you then have more clarity on what your specific song is, because you get a sense of, okay, what are the type of clients that I attract, or what kind of people that I work with. So, you know, you start to recognize where you can be most helpful. So I've started to see patterns in where clients need help, and certain people come to me with certain things, and I'm like, oh, okay, this again, and this again, and this again, and oh, I'm able to hold space for this and show up for this. And it's often the similar things of what's happening in my life as well. So I guess it's just, you start to see the rhythm, you get a rhythm that comes along, because obviously in a song you've got the rhythm, you've got the melody, and there's a certain rhythm that you get into in sessions that you know how to. So specifically when it comes to coaching, I'm talking to you about this because obviously you're starting your coaching business, and it's almost like within sessions you intuitively start to sense, the more sessions you do, you intuitively start to sense what a person needs in that moment. So it might be that they need just holding space for, you know, maybe they just need to talk about something, and that's all that's needed in that moment. Or it might be that they need a bit of motivation. So then you might switch up the rhythm a bit and, you know, get them to express themselves, you know, more fully. Or you might, you know, sometimes, because I do a lot of kind of shake it out, you know, just get the energy moving. Or it might be total opposite and just be like, okay, we're just going to get still and breathe. So it's about being able to do the journey of the song during, so say each session is its own song. So the client might start off in this mood, and then you're taking them on a journey, and they end up hopefully on a high note at the end of the session. So that's the goal, is to figure out where your client is on the journey and to provide them with a song that's gonna allow them to express themselves throughout their whatever it is that they're doing and whatever they need. Is that helpful? I just kind of shared just off what you were saying. Any thoughts on that, Yusuf?
Yeah, definitely really helpful. And so thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anyone else? What's the song of your business, or if you don't run a business, your work, your life, your dreams, what you would like to create? Does anyone
I'm
want
happy to share, Gemma, if, yeah.
to go for it?
Excuse me, I'm on and off. I'm not very presentable in the house at the moment, so I'm off camera. So like I said, I don't have a business for my creative side, but it's something that I've been doing for a long time. And I guess for me, I don't have a song as such, but I've been thinking more about what's driving me to do that, what's inspiring me to do that. So I suppose with my creativity, it's what I do when there's a kind of an element of I need to relax, or I need to kind of ground myself. I need to kind of find something that's like still and therapeutic. So I guess for me, it's more about why you're doing what you're doing, and does that energy flow through the work you're doing. And then there's also, I think we've discussed this in some of our recent sessions, Gemma, about that part of there is actually, it's about putting yourself out there. So it's actually quite a vulnerable thing to say, I'm putting a service together, I'm providing a service, I'm putting it out there. So I guess it's more about the emotions that fuel that creativity and that work, and that's probably part of that musical, or the emotional journey that goes with it is probably part of my song. And then hopefully the outcome is to just put something out there that's happy and blessed and like kind of just joyful, and that can kind of put that, just put that across, because there's so little of that, isn't there? It's like color. So I love color when I do my kind of creative stuff, whether it's drawing stuff, like recently I've got to mandala art, and that's what I love. I love that it's just colorful. You can have so many different like mixtures going on, and when you see that expression, it's like, I know when I've seen other artists work, I see what emotion that brings up in me and how it makes me feel. So it's almost like it's connecting with other people through the reasons why and expressing yourselves, and hopefully the other side can connect back in some way.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I love what you were saying about the color of, that expression. Definitely. Okay, anyone else want to share?
I'll go next. So the song in my business, especially in my field, is people are so trapped in themselves and trapped in trying to be normal. So I thought about this, and the song that comes through to me a lot of the times when I'm trying to be creative or I'm stuck in my way is "Crazy" by Seal. And there's one line where he said, we've got to get a little crazy. To survive, we've got to get a little bit crazy. So yes, being a little bit, and that doesn't mean like throwing stuff at the wall. Well, it can actually. It depends on what kind of crazy. It just means stepping out of that familiarity and that comfort level, because that actually stops people from being who they truly are. And I think why people come to me is because they think they have the space to be a little bit crazy, a little bit beyond who they thought they were initially. So yeah, "Crazy" by Seal is the song of my life, and my business life.
I'm gonna have to take a listen to that song. I don't really know it. But I know Seal. I think he showed up on my Instagram. I don't know if he like was looked at my story or like liked something, but I remember going, "Oh my God, Seal!" But that was cool. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. And I do think it's so important that people do feel they can be more themselves. I think probably we have a similar thing going on there where people, I think I give permission as well for that kind of craziness, like even just the fact that you were in my music video, Max in my music video, by the way, for Trust the Flow. And we were just like, yeah, let's go and find a waterfall and film it, and then just ask this random film videographer at the time, because we hadn't brought a videographer, but I said to the universe that there was going to be one, and then there was one, and then we just asked him, can you film us dancing in this waterfall? So Daryl was ace. Yes. See, it's like you remember his name as well, which is something so wonderful that I wish I was better at as well, remembering people's names. But yeah, there is a video actually of that happening, that moment. If you go to the Trust the Flow video, I think I linked the video that Daryl put of where he was filming his usual YouTube videos, and then it goes, and I've just met this Gemma, she's a singer, and I just filmed her. So it's interesting, but I guess what I'm trying to say is, that kind of creativity, that kind of spark of, yeah, let's just do this, let's try this, that in a way is it's giving people freedom, isn't it? Freedom to try new things, to be a little bit out there, to do something different. And when you meet other souls that can also bring that out of you, it's magical. It's amazing, because you get these crazy moments where great things happen and you think, wow, how did that happen? But it's because you allowed yourself to be free and not to just fit in this box of what society says we should be and how we should do things. That's how I've always gone about my business. It's just like, well, if people say I should do it like this, then I'll just do it a different way. I'll just go, no, I'll just write my own songs. I'll do my own videos. Why not? I'll make a mug. I've got this mug I made, Creative, Calm and Confident. And then I've just put a stand in the essence of who you are on the back, and then that's me doing a leap on the back, because I thought it reminded me of times when I took a leap of faith. So, yeah, who's next? Anyone else want to share? I think a few people their internet must have gone off. So I think, unless Nadim wants to share anything, I know you've just popped in, so I don't know if you're sure on what the topic is. But basically what we're talking about is the song of your business. So even if you don't have a business, it's more about how do you express yourself in your life, and what's the flow of it, and how does it come about? Just thinking about some ideas around that.
I don't know if you can hear me. It might give me a thumbs up or okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, in terms of how I express myself, sorry, I'm in a very loud market. Hopefully the background noise is not being picked up. So in terms of expression, that is a great area for me, on the basis that I am on a journey where I am learning to express myself. One of my big growth areas is to be able to tap into how I feel and let that sort of resonate in my body and give it some space without sort of going to a fight or flight response, I guess, and being reactive to it. In terms of flow, that, however, I can answer. In terms of flow, I am a big believer of the universe. So I don't know if you noticed, I came on earlier and then I had to go off.
Hold the space. We've also had someone join. Hello.
Hello, Gemma.
Hi.
How you doing? You all right? Good evening, everybody. My
Good
name's
evening.
Jay. Wasabi.
Nice to meet you. Sorry, did you say Jay?
That's right.